The national climate is a very wild thing to get into these days. You know, with current conditions the way they are, there's a great deal of weirdness affecting our national climate. Now, where is all this weirdness coming from? Maybe if we can break it down and dig it, everything will just be swell tomorrow. So let's do that right now and take a look at our national climate map. You know, on the West Coast, swirling hordes of tourists are expected to move in to the coastal beach areas once again this summer, as they always do. And this shifting mass of hot hordes may create a problem there. Since the San Andreas Fault, which is a big sort of crack in the Earth's crust, runs all the way through California just like this, scientists are concerned that the additional weight and pressure from these hot swirling hordes it might cause California to break off and fall into the sea. For those of you who do plan to stay in this area, though, but are worried about this, relief is definitely in sight for at least this portion right in here. Informed sources have informed us that the Mexican government is confiscating and burning large amounts of a peculiar weed. It is therefore expected that northerly winds will push an overall high into this area. And possibly on up. Like this. As usual, there is also a definite mass of heat which is trying to bring the high down. Elsewhere in the West, particularly in the New Mexico area, right in here, the heat is also coming on very strong there, and the people there are finding some very far-out ways to keep cool. Moving on eastward now and down into Texas, into this area right in here, there are definite social pressures there created by the abnormally dense in that area. Which seem to make it impossible for certain types of long-haired animals to survive in that climate. As we move on up now into the north central states, there's really not a lot going on there now, but later on in the summer, they can expect a downward change right in here on down due to political inversion and local condensation of opinions. Over now, we move into the Great Lakes region, into this area right here. And those inhabitants should be on the lookout for dark masses, which are expected to move in from the south, from this area, and take over all the metropolitan areas there, especially Chicago and Detroit and Cleveland. Oh, there are already heavy storm warnings out in that area, so if you plan to vacation in the Great Lakes region this summer, you'll want to be sure and take along a Soul Brothers sign with you. Now, we move down to the lower East Coast, down into the Florida area here, and the weather there will vary. In early summer, it will be sunny there, and later on in August, it will be Republican. With some hopes of a significant change, one way or the other. There are also some very disturbing formations expected up in this area right here along the coastline here, and they're expecting eruptions here in New York area and New Jersey. Now, as we take a closer look at this eastern section, we've discovered the presence of a small but intense storm center that is in fact causing the turbulent and disastrous climate of our nation. Washington, D.C. Yes, sir, folks, it's this little booger right here. Yes, it's causing all of this. Well, you know, when the weather gets better there, it'll probably be better everywhere. For example, if calmer conditions were to move into the Washington area, chances are that our western climate here would change, and we would get rid of this type of weather, and it would become very sunny and humid in that area. And this warm feeling would probably extend into the Great Lakes region up in here and on down into the south and change the entire climate of our nation. Wouldn't that be wonderful?